I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. Just fighting in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
Hey, everyone. This was like one of those YOLO lives, right, Louis?
Yes, it is. How are you?
Yeah, living the dream, you know. Waiting for tomorrow to come, and I was just going, hey, Louis, YOLO, right? And you're like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, sweet.
Works for me.
Yeah. I know, I love that about you, eh? It's YOLO. Okay. Kelly's like that, too. I still
10 minutes notice, I'm usually good.
Yeah, I know. I still haven't heard back from Adam. Hey, Debbie, I still haven't heard back from Adam. Who knows what he's doing? I'm not sure when his plane gets in, or I don't remember what he said, to be honest. I'd actually have to listen. You know, something about today, I think. I don't know. 12 and a half hours and it all begins. Yeah. I'm just going through people that are in the house now. Again, like I said, I know it was just like, I only put this up about 20 minutes ago here and there. Oh, I'm already hot. Okay. Oh, hey, Alexa. Alexa, don't forget I sent you the link for tomorrow morning. Yeah, I haven't. I know. He's such a bad boy. You know. So sad about the LGBTQ, you know, shooting. There was like 5 dead. I was looking at that just before we came on. 5 dead and I think 19 injuries now. It's up there, and some of them are critical, obviously. Hey, Mel, how are you? So yeah, now just so you know, if you guys happen to get this piece not silence, he's like he had asked me, and then I'm thinking he's asking other creators as well. If anyone wants to support an LGBTQ for Christmas. So I put up my link. Mine's for Barry for his Christmas wish list. So that's on the community board. I always forget about that sucker, to be honest, until somebody reminds me I have one. Not gonna lie. I mean, I gotta remember to post on that anymore. I don't even, it's because on the iPad, for whatever reason, iPad always says you cannot see community posts on here. And I'm like, you can't do it. So because I'm mostly on my iPad, that means, all right, then I would have to get up, go to my computer, which is 2 feet away, you know, turn it on again. And then, so I'm just like, yeah, or else I would actually post a lot more probably on that community page. Yeah. So anyways, hey guys, JD, Lisa, Deb's in the house. Do. Hey, Lisa, we probably won't find out anything tomorrow. The judge will think on it, maybe even after the holiday. I know. You know what, Lewis? Let's quickly watch the one video, and then we'll talk about it. And then I'm going to show you another video after we talk about tomorrow. But let me do that, okay, guys? So we'll be back in just a moment. This one's like 4 minutes long on there. So yeah, cue the tape. Okay, so give us a sec.
This is breaking news.
And we begin with breaking news from iTeammate tonight. The man accused in the Delphi murders wants a judge to release him from jail. iTeammate has obtained this court document filed this afternoon by attorneys for Richard Allen. It asks a judge to release him without posting bail or by setting what it calls a reasonable bail amount. Allen faces 2 counts of murders for the killings of Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. Now, in today's filing, Allen's attorney says the defense has reviewed the probable cause affidavit and that neither the proof of guilt is evident nor the presumption of guilt strong. That document is the key element of a court hearing tomorrow morning. iTeammate's Richard Essex is on the case.
The Carroll County prosecutor asked the court to seal the probable cause for Allen's arrest the day that he was arrested. From day one, investigators have kept a very tight lid on all of the information about this case. If the probable cause is released, it will answer a lot of questions.
Because it's captured the attention of the world, literally. Yeah, especially the country.
The arrest of Richard Allen last month raised new questions without answering many of the old ones. The original judge agreed to keep details justifying Allen's arrest hidden from the public even after his arrest, a move almost never seen in courts in Indiana. The document, typically submitted by police and prosecutors, spells out the evidence as they believe it to convince the judge to approve an arrest. At the time, state police said it was to protect the integrity of the investigation. A side-by-side comparison of Allen and the first sketch released by investigators are stunningly familiar. When you look at the physical appearance of the man captured on a cell phone and Allen's arrest photo, it could be the same person or not. We know that Allen is familiar with the Monon Trail Bridge. He went to a conservation officer days after the murder and told the officer that he'd been in the area and on the bridge the day that Abby and Libby were murdered, but he claimed to not have seen anything. Another name connected to the Delphi investigation is Kagan Klein. He faces 25 child porn charges after using a fake social media profile to solicit explicit pictures from young girls. iTeammate is told he used the fake social media profile to communicate with Libby German the day she was reported missing. Klein is not charged in the murders of Abby and Libby. Sources tell iTeammate the weeks-long search of the Wabash River that started in August was initiated by Klein when he told investigators that they would find a cell phone and a weapon. Klein revealed the information while being questioned about the Delphi murders. In a recent interview with Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, I asked him about the search.
I'm fascinated on what you guys found in the Wabash River. Will that be part of the probable cause?
Again, I'm not going to talk about that right now. When the probable cause is released, you'll know what we know, not what we think.
Our sources tell us that nothing related to the Delphi murders was found in the Wabash River. Abby Williams was 13 years old. Libby German was 14 when they were murdered. Their bodies were found a few miles east of downtown Delphi near the Monon High Bridge that crosses Deer Creek. The release of Richard Allen's probable cause is not expected to be the tell-all document, but after 5 years and 9 months, any information will be welcome. The special judge in this case has a number of options that she can exercise. She could release the document immediately. She could release the document with names redacted. She could listen to all the arguments and then issue a ruling much later on, or she could keep the document sealed until the trial. In Indianapolis, Richard Essex, Wish TV, iTeammate.
Richard, thank you. One other note.
1 sec. I gotta stop this. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So I want to say to the fellow, so I'm a Canadian, if most people know that by now. And welcome, Copper. I see ya. Hi, Wicked Witch. And hey, Deb, ask Wicked if she has your brooms. Deb's selling, she always sells her colored ones, though. Yeah. But anyways, I want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving on Thursday. So I know some of you guys celebrated already and stuff like that. Like I said, we celebrated it back in October here, but happy Thanksgiving. And Louis, you already celebrated yours, did you, or no?
No,
Not yet.
Thursday.
Oh, so you're actually going to do it on the day? Okay.
Yeah.
Some people do, some people don't. Because when it falls on a day like that, then, obviously some people do it on the weekend previous that I know some have and stuff like that. But yeah, love turkey. I'm not even going to say what happens after I eat turkey. No, okay, so let's go back to what we just watched over there. Okay, so I can see thoughts going in about that. So what are your thoughts so far with the whole? Go ahead.
Well, I can't see any reason why they're going to keep it sealed. So that should be something that opens up after the hearing, unless they come up with some spectacular reason why. But new judge, defense attorneys, they're already requesting a hearing for bail, which is going to be interesting because that tells me that they're going to have to present a case for that hearing. And that means the defense is going to get a lot of information from the prosecution. So it's a standard practice to do that, but by not giving them a bail up front, that gives them the reason for the hearing, which means that the state has to present at least a good part of their case up front early, and that's going to give the defense an advantage, which keeps it fair. But, with the way they've handled things so far, it could be a olive branch to not push for any other actions if there's nothing in that probable cause that should have been sealed.
Right. So what's your percentage on that he'll be granted this?
Well, being that she's a different level of judge and she's very fair in mindset and does everything to protect the courts the way they can, I'm going to say you're probably 80% she'll release. And with that release, there'll probably be some, redacted parts. But I think the majority of it's going to be unveiled. I mean, if you think about sealing the document, everyone keeps saying it. They do that to protect anyone else that is involved that's not been arrested yet. But that's the opposite, because anyone that's involved that's not been arrested or questioned yet knows who he is. And they know that if he's been arrested, they need to take precautions. So that doesn't keep them from running because their name wasn't announced. They're the only person that knows their name. But what it could possibly do would be to set up a trap if they're watching the other people involved to see if anyone's going to try to leave. So from the prosecution side, sealing the document might have just been like a way of smoking them out. And if they start to prepare to leave the state or the country, then they'll apprehend them and arrest them at whatever port of entry they're grabbing. And then the other thing too, it could be to protect witnesses. I mean, that's another good aspect for that. But everyone that thinks that this is to protect anyone that's not been arrested yet, that would not be the case, because they're the only people that know that they've done something wrong.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think we've been told that there's no names in there.
Yeah, but we really don't. I mean, I really doubt anyone has access to that document that's going to give much from it. And if they have, I don't see any names being in there either. But there has to be some legitimate reason why they felt it needed to be sealed like they did. It's not a normal practice. You do have an inexperienced prosecutor with an inexperienced judge who let himself off, but I still don't see them making a mistake like that could cause an issue down the road. So there's got to be something in there that they felt was important.
You don't think it was anything to do with the fact that it was, kind of like a whole last minute thing and they're just trying to get their ducks in a row a bit?
Well, if that's the case, then the public's going to assume it was because of an election, and that could cause more issues with the case if they felt they needed to do this and keep it secret because there was an election coming up and they just needed an arrest. And if that's the case, you're going to have major turmoil once tomorrow ends.
Yeah, I can't see I can't see there being any corruption whatsoever. And
I can't see it being at the level of anyone making that
no,
kind of a mistake. I mean,
yeah, no.
The judge might not have been experienced enough to handle this much pressure, but I'm sure he was level-headed enough to know that we're not going to seal something just because someone tells him to. So I really think there's something in there that they felt was important, whereas the new judge might not feel that it was necessary to keep it sealed more than 30 days.
Yeah. So tomorrow you think it's going to be released?
Yeah, I'd say on the higher percentage range, the 80, 90. I'm almost positive it's going to be released, but I don't want to say 100% because nothing ever is.
Right.
There could be just that one piece in there that really needs to be kept secret, and we just can't guess it.
Yeah. Now, okay, so I want to play another clip, and it's a lawyer one that I listened to today. It's not the Mark Lopez Gomez, whatever his name is, guy. I think it's Lopez or something like that. It's not him. It's a different one that I happen to come across. So I'm going to play that, and it was actually quite interesting, actually. But I'm going to play that, you guys, and then we'll be back again after that, and then talk about everything again. Okay, guys? All right. So let me just do that again. Go.
Guys, this is Mark Jesse. I'm an attorney and have been for 30 years. I'm licensed to practice both in state and federal court. I've tried over 100 jury trials. I have dealt with a lot of federal cases involving the FBI, the ATF, DEA, Homeland Security. And in a lot of those cases, there's electronic investigation that often involves serving subpoenas on internet providers, serving subpoenas on phone providers. I've done a number of child pornography type cases where all of that's fairly common. And I've watched with great interest on YouTube a number of YouTube internet detectives who are trying to figure out these Delphi murders. And I think one of the things that up until now everybody seems to have missed is how things work kind of in the real world. And here's what it is. If they have Libby's phone that's been talking to Anthony Schatz through an app, that led them to Keegan Klein, who was creating the Anthony Schatz account. And you can tell that they have subpoenaed internet records and carrier records because in the transcript that's been released of the very long interview they did with him several years ago, they are specifically talking to him about they can see he's logging in and logging out from two separate devices at his father's home because it's the same IP address that is connected to that home. You'll notice in that interview, they're specifically targeting, did you give anybody the password to your account or access to your device at your house? Or he went to Vegas for a short period of time and there were some searches performed there. They can tell he's in Vegas because he's connecting through either, a hotel's wireless or his home wireless or whatever. But what's missing from the analysis is if they were able to subpoena records from TikTok or Instagram or some app, it would show the traffic that occurred on that account. And if they have internet records from Keegan's house, it would show which days he was logging in and out from his house. But it would also show if some third party, like Richard Klein, had his password. Because if now you have Richard Allen, who knows Keegan's password to the Anthony Schatz account, and so he's logging in and talking to these girls using the Anthony Schatz account, it would show a different IP address. And it appears that that did not occur because there is no talk about, hey, we discovered that it was being, somebody over in Delphi was doing that. Who did you give that information to? It appears that he had Dropbox access was being granted to multiple other people. But there's no talk so far that they have discovered Richard Allen's network or computers or access devices or anything were in any way, shape, or form connected to the Dropbox that Keegan Klein was using. And so I think you can speculate all you want, but you have to think about the digital footprints that would be left behind if Richard Allen was in contact with Keegan Klein. It would either be by phone. They certainly should have some phone records of that effect, but apparently they don't. They would have to have, if they're texting each other, they would have, because if they were not using the app to talk to each other, so they were texting each other. The entire record is absent that they ever had any contact with each other in any way, shape, or form. And so it makes me think that Keegan, whatever trouble he's gotten himself into, and whatever conversations he was having with these girls to try to catfish them, unless Richard Allen was coming over to his house and they were discussing things one-on-one, live and in person, or unless Richard Allen was sitting on his couch using Keegan's phone to talk to these girls, it doesn't appear that there's any digital footprint left by Richard Allen in any way, shape, or form that connects him. And if so, if there was any of that, they would have known that since at least 2000 when they went and interviewed Keegan, and it is 2022. So recently then, it appears that Keegan Klein told him something was thrown off the bridge. They spent 5 weeks out there searching high and low. So he must have told them it was something of extreme significance. But they apparently didn't find anything, or at least nothing's been reported that they found. So that's interesting. What is interesting is just shortly after the whole search of the Wabash River, next thing you know, they're over at Richard Allen's house doing a search warrant. If there would be no reason to delay executing a search warrant for 5 years unless they got some recent new information. Now, there's a rumor that Richard Allen had stolen some power tools from the neighbor, and that's what they were there looking for. If that's true, that means they stumbled upon something during the course and scope of that search that had to immediately tie him to the Delphi murders, because he was quickly charged with murder, less than 2 weeks later after the search warrant was executed. That's one possibility. Or there has to be some information that was provided to authorities just recently that doesn't match up with like leaving a digital footprint from 3, 4, 5 years ago. And it's going to be really curious when the probable cause affidavit gets released. We're all going to get to figure out what that is. But I'm going to go on the record and say, I'm guessing that a bunch of the people that are internet detectives have got this completely wrong. And we'll know in a week or two. Good luck.
Okay, so
All right.
thoughts on that?
Well, we can blow what he said out of the water if you go back to what I told you months and months ago. If you go back to the Keegan Klein interview when they described the computer that was taken and how they found that thing plugged into the front of it that was not a memory stick. I sent you 2 pictures in Messenger if you want to throw those up real quick.
Sure, let's take a look.
These are what they call a Wi-Fi dongle. You can plug that into your PC, and then somebody could be outside of your house and log into your Wi-Fi and use your IP address if they have permission, or if for some reason they were able to get this device into your computer without you knowing it. So that blows out of the water the whole idea about it had to be somebody in the house. And I always thought that was a very odd thing when the detectives were questioning Keegan. They brought up the fact that there was something plugged into the front of his computer that looked like a memory stick but did not hold any memory. And that's one style. The other one with the wings actually sends out a further signal. Then they make ones that are almost flat. They only stick out about half of an inch. But I just fear those two pictures were good for now. But it still sticks out in my mind why that was brought up in the interview with Keegan Kline. Were they trying to get him to tell what that was because they knew it wasn't a memory stick? And why they brought up that specific thing stuck in the computer. So my gut call from day one after hearing that is it was a Wi-Fi dongle, and that's how the other device kept logging in and out from their Wi-Fi. It would also give Keegan Kline the option of being out in his car and doing it so he wasn't actually in the house. But I don't think that was the case. I think it was access to their Wi-Fi by a third party.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, hopefully tomorrow gives us. Do you think anything to do with the Keegan Kline thing will be in there at all, or is it just simply about Richard Allen?
The only thing that could be in there, and that could be why they kept this sealed, is if they found something from Kline connecting to him, but not directly, not like they knew each other personally, but there was some triangular connection between what Kline was doing and what he was doing. Did somebody else tap into Kline's Wi-Fi, and were they communicating without Kline knowing, and somehow that person knew the Allens, and that's how they got connected? There's so many possibilities to guess at, but you can't strictly just say that it had to be either they knew each other or they didn't. There could still be that third-party connection.
What about the fact of the burner phone, the two burner phones that?
That burner phone thing bothers me because that's not really. I think a lot of the devices that people use Wi-Fi are not what they call a burner phone. They're phones that don't have service. They're an off-count phone. So it's a phone that no longer is connected to a network, but they can use Wi-Fi. And with Wi-Fi, they can then use that phone to use apps. And some of those apps actually give you phone numbers, so you can actually use it like a phone without having phone service.
Absolutely, Steph. Now, okay, but my thing is though, if can't they trace that? What was on those ones? That type though, like one that you're talking about? Couldn't they trace it back?
If they're using a non-network phone, if the person knows what they're doing, it could be made not traceable. Harder to trace than a burner phone, which would be like the pay-as-you-go phones. But if you took a phone that somebody else had and you used that phone on Wi-Fi and it was never in your name, there's no way to trace that phone back to you as a person. They might find out who originally had it.
Sorry, Ed, John, don't even start in here. So this is why I usually have the trolls. You know what? So you can go enjoy yourself. Have a good day, John. You people like you make me sick that even try to start stuff like that. So have a good one, John. You're just a typical moron that doesn't belong in the Delphi case whatsoever. There we go. Block. Let me put my thing back on. Just 1 second. Go.
I must have missed something interesting, huh?
Oh, he said he said something like, Sonny, don't even blame the patties, don't even go there. It's just a troll is all it is. Because
nobody brought them up. Nobody mentioned them.
It's just a troll. So let me just go edit my settings here. Customization. Let's see. Let's go back to our typical 5 hours or whatever. And there we go. Keep those little bad boys out of here. All right. I don't got the time of day for those people. So go ahead. Sorry, Lewis. I didn't mean
I don't even know where I left off when he did whatever. But yeah,
we were talking about the phones and burner phone and tracing.
Yeah, if you've got the term burner phone refers to what people use as a pay-as-you-go phone, where there's no contract and there's no real name tied into it. You could buy the phone over the counter, use a fake name and credit card, sign up for it, or buy their cards and charge them that way. And that's what a burner phone technically usually is. But most people, and it's already recorded that Klein was doing this, which is why I go back to it. He had multiple devices that were no longer on service, and he was using those devices on his home's Wi-Fi. So that let's say you upgraded your phone on your plan and you kept your old phone from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
If you charge that battery and you turn it on, it has no service. But if you turn on the Wi-Fi in the house and a hotspot, and you connect to the hotspot from that phone through Wi-Fi, you can use all the apps as if it had service. The only thing you don't have is an actual working phone number, but even that you can get by downloading apps that have free phone numbers. So a lot of people, what they do if they don't want to be traced is they'll use an off, service device like that, and then they can do everything that everyone else is doing. They just have to connect to Wi-Fi. And they've already said that that's how they knew where Klein's phones were, because he was connecting to Wi-Fi. His phone might have had service. The older phones, I'm sure, did not, because I'm sure they didn't keep 4 devices on a contract. Every time you upgrade, the old phone gets thrown in the drawer. Well, that's the perfect thing to use for what they were doing, because the only connection is the Wi-Fi address. And if they used a VPN, nobody would be looking at that right now. But that one thing that they pulled out of his computer still makes me think that somebody else could have been eavesdropping on what they were doing by logging into the same accounts using his Wi-Fi. And to go even further with it, somebody could have cloned his device and logged into it with the clone device, and it would have given the same ID as his phone, but from them using it from outside through one of those things I showed you there, a dongle. So, I mean, it depends how complex you want to get with it, but the simplest thing could just be somebody outside with their own device logging in.
I have this big thing my husband has this big thing in the wall in the living room. Mm-hmm. And I think he calls it a dongle. And it's this big ass thing with like 8 tentacles or something to it. Is that called
a router?
A what? The router?
A router? Yeah.
Well, I guess it's like this big thing with those big tentacles to it that stand up. But he always calls it a dongle. Maybe it's not a dongle. All I know is I had to reset the modem thing. I know
that's either your modem or your router. The router is what directs where it's going. Yeah, so that's probably what it is. But dongles are usually those small things that plug into a USB port.
Okay. They shouldn't. Okay. Lisa, when you guys say dongle, you guys know where I'm going, right? Because it's just a naughty word in itself. It just can't help it, okay?
Unless you're describing something else that he has hanging on the wall that I don't know about. But
a dongle. Just kidding. So, okay, I want to go back to what you think of when people are saying, like, I would rather he should just want to stay in jail, because where would he go?
Well, right? Let's address that, because Alexa brought that up earlier too. Asking for the bail is not really to get bail. That is a smart defense attorney that wants the prosecution to have to present their case as to why they can't have bail. And that means in discovery, they're going to wind up getting more information that they have now for evidence. So just to build up a strong defense, the defense team wants that info. Having that hearing is going to give them that. It won't be all the evidence that the state has, but it'll be enough that they have to present to prove why he can't be let out on bail, or why the bail amount will be so high. So just think of it as discovery. It's a way of defense discovering more information as to what the state's case is.
Yeah. So now don't forget, so tomorrow, guys, we'll be going live at 8:30, right, Lewis? 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Alexa, myself, and obviously you'll be there, and CD dude, if you come and show up, you'll show up. He says sure, but CD, I never ever put on a thumbnail or whatever, and he knows that, because he never knows someday from the next what's going on and stuff like that. And
unfortunately, my secret ticket in is stuck working, so I'm not going to be able to go down there and get in like I thought. But yeah.
Well, let me just put this up. Let's see here. Let me see if I brought it in or not. Did I? I felt like I brought it in, but maybe I didn't. Oops. Let me just get off that. Cancel. 1 second. Let me just go find it. I thought I hit download for it. No, maybe not. Well, I thought I did though. I saved it. I know I saved it. 1 second. Oops. I thought this one? Oh, okay. Let's see. So Angela, whoever this person is, I don't really know who this person is. Anyways, I seen this on Reddit. Okay, that's not the one I wanted though, because there was the other one that I took a screenshot of. Anyways, oh no, there it is. Tomorrow, it says, we will be at the courthouse when it opens at 8 a.m. Live reports from Delphi starting at 4 a.m. So, I mean, the doors open at 8, obviously. There's only room for 70. I know Frank and Randy and some others like are going. And, you know, there's already news crews that are there. 4 a.m. But they're probably going to try to catch, like, you know, just like the buzz going on and stuff like that, right? Because obviously you can't have cameras and stuff like that. So it's just really going to be a matter of waiting and seeing what happens. But obviously, you know, the buzz going into the courts, you know, and I don't know, again, if Richard Allen is getting transported tonight to make it maybe easier on them, you know, just for the sake of, you know, so that, you know, I mean, instead of the crowd all being there, all ready to go. What do you think about that, actually? Do you think he's going to be there tonight for tomorrow
My thought for safety would be that they would have brought him out there this evening or today at some point, and then that way he's held in a, you know, holding cell there overnight and then brought over in the morning early. But
John Kelly did a video today.
See, I'm not sure if that courthouse has a holding area downstairs, but you're so close to Carroll County Sheriff, I'm sure they've got something there.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, you know, come on, Indiana, change your rules, man. Live cameras, tweeting.
Well, you do know that this judge is part of a probationary program to allow cameras in the courtrooms.
Yeah.
In her county anyway, not in Carroll County.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd allow them anyway because they don't allow it for anything that involves children. So when the crime involves children, they don't allow cameras. It's a closed camera courtroom anyway. So
yeah.
Everyone that was hopeful it was being moved to Allen County for that reason, it's not going to matter because of the fact that it involved kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It feels like it just sucks because, you know.
And I think that's why they changed that original press release document for Tuesday, was because it still involves kids, and that's why they changed what they were going to do. That original document that said for media purposes they were going to allow picture taking and communication, just no video and audio, and then that all of a sudden changed to nothing. So I think that original was just preemptive release, not realizing that since it's still connected to that type of a crime, that Indiana State won't allow that in the courts. So I'm just interested to see what they do, but I don't see it.
So I guess it will help. Okay, just in all, you know, just hypothetically here, but so how long do you think this will last? Do you figure like an hour?
Tomorrow? It depends. If the prosecution realizes that there's nothing really in there that they've got a case to keep hidden, it'll probably be a 45-minute to an hour at the most. if they have to present some sort of a case, you'll probably wind up with at least an hour and a half to 3 hours, but I don't think it's going to take the entire day. You'll have all your normal stuff that takes up the first 20, 30 minutes, and then you'll have whatever gets put out there, which will be 15 minutes if it's going to be quick, and then hour plus if it's going to be putting on a whole case as to why, and then another 15 minutes to finish up. So my guess is short time an hour, long time 3.
Okay, who dis? Are you going tomorrow? Are you still going to try to go tomorrow? And who just says it's not considered a juvenile case since the defendant is not juvenile? You think that's the case? I don't know nothing about the laws, so.
Not because it's a juvenile case, because the crime actually involved children. That's usually when they don't allow cameras.
Okay, so not for sure. Like, who just could be right on this one?
No, my understanding, it's the opposite. It has nothing to do with whether the defendant's a juvenile or not. It has to do with who's involved in the crime.
Yeah. Well, so who just says that's the plan? I'm trying to go. Who dis? 3:30. Beat them all. Okay? 3:30. Just go to bed now. Don't even watch the rest of the
If who just wants to pick me up, I'll go along.
There you go, who dis? You want a companion? All I'm picturing in my head is a frenzy of people.
It's going to be a mob scene. It really is. The only reason I was going to go is because I had a way of getting in beforehand, and that fell through with their work schedule. So that's why I'm not going to make the trip for it, because I don't think it'll be beneficial for anyone that doesn't have actual press credentials.
Mm-hmm. Who just says not when it's a murder case, that's the difference. And there. That's where we need a lawyer friend. Yes, are you a lawyer? If not, go take your bar exam. Let's go. Yeah. I mean that Mark guy, like, it's like he would answer you back and then he would like not answer you back. And then he'd answer you back if you sent another one, and then he'd not answer you back. So whatever. To be honest, I'm like, okay, whatever, dude.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was probably becoming overwhelmed with messages, and it's real easy to lose a responded message when you get 100 after it.
He probably was. I wouldn't doubt, to be honest with you.
I think his channel blew up from his first video, so.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me, to be honest. Well, I don't know. Because he answered Jenny back right away yesterday. Yeah. So I don't know. Whatever. I don't actually I would literally have to care, though. I put it out there and tried twice, and I mean, it's his right to do his thing or not do his thing and whatever. But I just it just makes me laugh when like they answer you back twice and then they don't even go back to it afterwards. But whatever. Whatever the reason, don't care. He seems like a nice guy regardless. He just reminds me of like what is he? Spanish? Is he Mexican? What is he? Gomez, Lopez. That's Spanish, yeah? Is that Spanish?
It could be, Mexican. It could be Puerto Rican. It could be.
Yeah. You know what he reminds me of? We're just like a big Italian dude, gives out the bear hugs. Yeah. Frank, go get some sleep. Where's Frank? Is he in here? Oh, there's Frank. Hey, Frank. Do you have someone out there now to be able to tell you if people are putting up tents out there and they're popping up tents, keep in the line because they got to go in line, right? Yeah. Probably about 55 seats to the public and media. Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, guys, yeah, let's, pray for the families of, the victims on this one because, they get to, for the first time, face Richard Allen in court tomorrow. And it's one of those hollow things, you know, like finally there's been somebody arrested, but to literally have to look at the person that's possibly guilty of murdering those two girls, and the families have to stare at this person, you know. Are you able to pull up that video that shows the networks already in line at the courts? I don't know what video. So unless you have the video to send me, I don't know what video.
I'm sure every news station is already down there with their camera vehicles and everything.
Yeah.
That's not a morning trip to take. That's an overnight trip. And
good night, Frank. Be good. Yeah. Get some sleep, Frank. Take care, bud. And again, sorry about your loss recently with your mom there. And yeah, prayers to you. Go get some sleep. And yeah, see what happens tomorrow. Hey, there's my McDougal. McDougal. My husband's playing RuneScape right now as we speak. So I'm just going to tell all those people that don't know. In the game of RuneScape land, and sadly, Kagan Klein, that was in his list of games that he played, was RuneScape. I'm like, Peter, so I'm thinking is Peter. It's a perfect game for Peters, like honestly. Any of those you know, MMORPG games and whatever are. Where you role play, pretend like you're a female when you're really a male, you know, blah blah blah. But anyways, my husband's playing that now. But McDougal, the McDougal tree is an ingredient that you have to use to make a pie. So that's why I always remember it, because it was a stupid quest. We had to go pick a couple McDougals to make a freaking pie, you know. Anyway, that's why whenever I see that name, I'm like, RuneScape. See, I played RuneScape for on and off for 20 years, eh? Great game, very cute game. Then World of Warcraft came out, eh? I know this is off topic, but I don't care. Then World of Warcraft came out, and they were just taking, you know, people left, right, and center. Then RuneScape decides to go. So, you know how it kind of was really? Is that World of Warcraft basically took RuneScape, but made it way better in a sense for them. It's kind of like they mimicked off of RuneScape. And then what happened was, then World of RuneScape decided that they were going to revamp the game, and they made it like World of Warcraft. But the thing is that you don't piss off your RuneScape the people, the following that you had. So what happened was, there was so much outrage by us RuneScapers that they actually brought back RuneScape 2007, the old school RuneScape. I don't want to call it old school, but it's old school in comparison, since I played from the original where you freaking had a sleeping bag and crap. But anyways, so yeah, so it's kind of like this whole thing happened. So it's kind of like my husband's been playing what we would call RuneScape 3, which is more similar to the World of Warcraft one. So he's doing his live thing right now, gaming. He's like trying to get a Twitch following and stuff. I know, it's just some stuff that you guys needed to know. Just sharing it. You're welcome. You can thank me later.
You know, they were talking about hair in chat, and it has nothing to do with income, because the ankle surgeon that I go to, even his online pictures, his hair is always a complete disaster. And he's a young guy, and decent looking guy. And every time I see him in the office, same thing. His hair looks like he just woke up. But some people, they get to that point where they don't really care. You know, married, has kids, has dogs, has a great business, and it's wake up, go to work, come back home, go to bed.
Wait, who are they talking about with the $300 haircut?
Well, they were talking about murder sheets and about him, I thought not having enough money to do his hair. And I was saying, it's definitely not about money, because my surgeon makes a good amount of money. And like I said, even the pictures on his website that they use for the photo looks like he just rolled out of bed. It's kind of amusing.
It's kind of like I don't kind of like an Einstein kind of like whoosh, put your finger in the electric socket and whichever way the hair goes that day kind of thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can admire people that just show up on TV nationally and don't give a crap about what they look like, to be honest, because if that's the way that they like, you can just tell, like, sometimes they're getting on those things and they look like they like rather rough and stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, I mean, hey, if you want to put yourself out to the world like that, like that's your own thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like if that's how they are in a sense, like just don't really care and they just show up on a live and sweating beads and all, and hey, then all the power to them, to be honest with you. I actually, okay, call me whatever, but in a weird way I really respect that, because it means that they don't care what other people think, they're just doing them.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of feel about that stuff. So although I personally wouldn't be like put my finger in a socket or nothing like that, but it's just I always appreciate people who just do themselves. That part I don't mind. So it's their life, enjoy it, have a good one. Then they just sit there like a wart and not saying anything.
I think a lot of people were spoiled by COVID also. You spent 2 years where you didn't have to do what you did before, and then you just get in a rut. Like I'm used to having to get up and get ready and shaved and everything every day for 20 plus years and go back and forth. And now that I don't have to do that, it's like, do I want to shave today? Nah, I'll do it tomorrow. It just,
Yeah. So what do you think? Okay, wait. So can you explain to people again? Because people are a little bit confused. So Alan is doing everything, but their officials will hold all the hearings and trial in Carroll County instead of Allen County. Even I'm a little bit confused. So the dates that are already set for Carroll County.
He's being charged in Carroll County. So that's where the change of venue would come into play. If they want to do a different venue, which I can't see why his attorneys would not put in for a change of venue after tomorrow, because I can't see him getting a fair trial in Carroll County no matter what happens. So that change of venue is when it'll move from Carroll County to whatever county that they can, push it for. I would think it might go to Allen County since the judge that's handling the case is from there now, but it really is up to them as to where they want to get it moved to and what's accepted or not.
Oh, I have something to say for McDougal, because he had a little poem. So I was like, just off the top of my head right now, I was like, roses are red, violets are blue. You'd look better if you dropped your goo. I said it because he had a nice little sweet haiku for me the other day. So I just wanted to say that one back to you. That one just right there. Okay? Blue, goo, just rhymed. All right. I like pie too. Lisa likes pie too. Don't you, Lisa? Stefan, you like pie? Who here likes pie? Oh, Timmy Donuts.
Alexa, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt with brushing the hair and doing that. Hopefully he showers, but yeah.
Wait, Alexa, hold on a second, Alexa. Let's take her back a few episodes to Alexa. Remember when she's not feeling well and she comes on and she has her pink robe or whatever on, sniffling. And I was like, you go, Alexa, because again, she was just doing Alexa. Do you remember this, Alexa? I know. I thought you would McDougal. Yeah. but seriously, so when I seen Alexa, like, said she wasn't feeling well, and then she's like in her robe all snuggied up or whatever, and I'm just like, go girl, you do you. You do you. That's what was going through my head all of a sudden. Besides the donuts. Okay. That already said she wants to keep it in Carroll County. Okay, I'm going to make puppets of the missus. We'll let you know. Well, I thought I would create some voodoo dolls. How about them apples? Yeah, I'll just put one of like Hagen Klein, Richard. Yeah, can you guys go get me a sample of their hair? Just saying. I know. It was well thought out. You're welcome. Took me like not even 5 seconds, but I put a lot of thought into that. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. It was a Halloween, and no, it wasn't on Halloween. Was it Halloween? Was it on Halloween? Oh, so you do remember though. Something. It was something similar. Was it Halloween? I don't call it being Halloween. Who dis? The jurors. Who dis? Right? They can bust jurors from other counties on there. Puppets, murder sheet puppets. You know, I kind of like when it comes to murder sheets. It's like, you know, it just I go back to the whole thing of each to their own, each to their own. Like who am I really to say? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between when you're a trash channel, then I'm like, go crawl back underneath the rock you came out of, right? with murder sheets, it's kind of like just do them, like they're just doing them, and it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, it's their life; they can do whatever they want, and there's lots of people that like them and lots of people that don't, type of thing. But I just say it's none of my business what they do, or if they brush their hair or not brush their hair. I'm just all about doing yourself at the end of the day. And, you either like them or you don't. I think that there's not really a middle. Well, maybe there is a middle ground with them. I don't know. What do you think? The rest, like, I don't attack them or nothing, but I just mean like.
No, I don't feel there's a reason to judge either way. Do I like all the things they've done? No. Do I understand some of the things are not what people think they hear from them? Yeah. I think they get a bad rap on some things that were not. And then if you looked at after last Monday's, press conference, they were thanked for keeping information quiet. So that tells you they've got a direct line to the state police. So you have to take some of that stuff with a grain of salt, but you do have to appreciate the fact that they are communicating with the state police directly and not just taking rumors. So it's, you can't 100% agree with everybody, but you can't write them off just because you don't like some of the things they've done, because you miss some of the stuff that might be accurate. You just have to judge it.
I mean, like I was gonna say, I think part of it's like they pop out of the woodwork, and then it would have to be because he's a lawyer, she's whatever, and then every time the news station opens up their mouth, it's about murder sheets, and here there's people that have been talking about and whatever forever that are just as qualified and stuff like that. But you know what? If they were the first horse out of the gate, and it's the way that the news works, So, like I said, my thing is that I'll never buy a freaking derma wand from them, or any of their products off their thing. But hey, whatever, it's their life. If they're making money and some decent change off of these advertisements and stuff like that, can't fault them. I mean, would you guys turn it down if you guys could offer a derma wand on your channel? I'd probably turn that one down, to be honest.
What I have to say is not looking at money as an issue, and not just with them. I've seen it with other people. Most of the people that have an issue with what's being put out there are hearing it from other people, not from the original source, and everything gets disturbed, and they get their own opinions from someone else's opinion. So anyone that's judging, if they've not actually listened and watched, they should. And I think every channel that's out there has that same problem. You get the diehard fans, you get the people that are 100% against, and then you get that big group in the middle that's making their opinion up based on what they listen to from either of those other two sides. So if somebody has something against anyone that's putting media out there and they've never listened to them in full, they really should. Like I see that a lot with Mind Shock. He gets judged quite a bit because of what's put out there, but he makes it clear before every episode that he's putting out information from every source. It's not his opinion, but the people that don't listen to that think it's his opinion, and then they judge him. So there's things to be said about giving everyone at least one opportunity to give themselves the right or wrong impression.
Thank you, Lewis. Let's see, Mystical. Sunny, what are your thoughts on Patty's fighting not to release the records? I absolutely just agree. I'm just all for Mystical. What's in the best interest of the case, whatever that deems it, how the outcome comes out tomorrow. and stuff like that, I'm all for the best outcome for the case. That will always be the entire reason of being even part of this case is for Abby and Libby first and foremost over anything. So whatever is deemed as the correct solution or the correct way doesn't mean everything is always correctly done, but I'm always for whatever is in the best interest of Abby and Libby. Yeah, not knowing Ari, yeah, right. Oh, well, I think that's because of the sister picture there. That even though that doesn't mean that they personally knew him, but I'm sure there would have been a conversation regardless about that. You know, there's no way that there wouldn't have been a conversation being like, that's my friend. Because his voice is yuck. Mel. I love Mel. And Lisa and who dis are always got their little funnies to put in there. I love it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for always keeping me smiling. I know some of you guys, other ones do too, but those ones are consistently always throwing in those perfect little haikus to my ear. In my opinion, things are going to be quite a review with POC released. Well, like, you know what? It's right around the corner, right? Yeah.
Clock's ticking.
I'm gonna agree with you on that cold truth, and that's exactly the reason why I personally can't, watch the show myself. For that exact reason. Just like some people, right? I mean, some people like listening to my voice, and other people can't stand my voice. Don't really care one way or the other. But I know for me, if I can't stand somebody's voice on a channel, I cannot watch them. I just can't do it. My ears will refrain from going to that person again. Because it's kind of like, certain accents that hit my ear that are just not welcoming to my eardrums, What are you seeing anything else in there that you're seeing? Anything that you want to add?
Well, the comment about me using the voice changer, what I do is I slow the speed down to 0.75 on YouTube, and it's a lot easier to listen to his show. I understand the voice is a rough one, but yeah, I just go to 0.75 and the speed comes down a little bit, and he sounds a little bit more normal. But yeah, it is a hard one to get used to in the beginning.
Sunny, when you say yeah, it reminds me of the movie from Fargo. I can't remember who it was that said this to me. They said that, like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, I think it was. Or is it I think it was that one, Wayne's World. Or is it Doug and what's his name? Doug and whatever from Canada, the one that did on there.
Yeah.
I honestly don't say A just because I'm Canadian. I just say it because I normally say it. Even when I'm typing, I notice I say A. A just means A.
Yeah, Alexa, it is actually a man, but it does sound like a woman if you haven't listened from the beginning, because he's gone through a couple different voice changes. But yeah, it is actually a guy.
Oh, right. I know. That was the one that you're like, is this a chick or a guy?
Yeah.
For the longest time. And then I think I thought it was a chick, and I was like, oh, it's a guy. Like, no,
originally, I don't know if people know that I've listened to them for a while. Originally, he had two co-hosts. And the reason they used the voice changer is because one of the two co-hosts he was friends with actually works for the government, and the other guy is like an imbecile. But they were blocking their voices because he was still working at that time and didn't want to be known. So they changed everybody's voice. And it was quite annoying. But over time, I've gotten used to it, the slower speed.
Talking about, yeah, I'm not sure who somebody else is thinking of there. Oh, and Alexa, you're doing your hair tomorrow. Even if it's not done, you're still doing your hair tomorrow. Just kidding.
Yeah, Ivy Rose, that's the problem people misunderstand. He says in the beginning that the information he's putting out is from all sources. He doesn't confirm whether it's accurate or not. He just tries to get every source together so people can listen in one spot. instead of having to go to all the different podcasts and Reddit groups and all that. So if something's not correct, it's left that way on purpose because it was out there that way. That way he's not making corrections on someone else's work.
Whatever that link was, it wasn't working, by the way, Alexa. Lewis, I like Maxwell's input.
He gets on my nerves.
Ooh. Ooh. I know what I wanted to ask. And who just that went through my head today. Excuse me, I gotta take time out for McDougal here. What? When I hear I think of two Canadian moose from my brother bear. Well, I mean, I feel like I look like a moose some days, and some days I feel like I look like a bear.
No, like they said earlier, you're the cop from Fargo.
Yeah. Some days I like to get drunk off maple syrup, and some days I don't. Come at me. I don't care. You know? My thought here. Okay, McDougal, that's enough bonding time right now. Let's go. Okay. So my thought here was this. They were supposed to meet a 19-year-old at the bridge that day. Max Snowberger, Julie interviewed him. And, he was talking about the 19-year-old that he was supposed to meet. So obviously, so where was the 19-year-old? Like, where was this person? So that's obviously was like, okay, well, then obviously the 19-year-old would have been Richard Allen that day.
Well, we have to go back to the fact they keep saying how complicated this case is. So we know this wasn't some guy that took a walk that day and wound up doing what he did. There's way more involved if you have to believe anything the police have said up until now, because they've not released much, but that's something that's been repeated over the years constantly. So that makes me think that there's got to be some connection to social media, or catfishing, or more people involved. It's not a simple case.
I'm hardly waiting. Hopefully, come on, Judge. Just let us see the stuff tomorrow, all right? I mean, the judge will do whatever, regardless. But all that's going through my head is, okay, so, Libby's communicating with this 19-year-old. We're going to go meet this 19-year-old. And Max Snowberger said, doesn't really want her to, be careful, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, this person out of nowhere, named Richard Allen, pops out of everything. Let me put it this way. They better have it right. They better have something very substantial. I don't know. I just really want to see. I just need to see that. Then I can refocus my brain on where it needs to think, in a sense. Because, I'm going to tell you, too. Yesterday, I was looking at some of those freaking crime scene pictures again. I was looking at the little spoon area there. Remember that, Dad, the spoon? I think I have it here still. I think I still have it. Oh, no, it didn't load in. That's right, because my computer, I had to reset it. So, no, it didn't set in. But there was this... Let me tell you this. I literally had to stop because I'm like, what is this? Is this a freaking barbecue? Is this a freaking barbecue with, okay, well, this is what I'm seeing. I'm thinking, I'm seeing this latch. Actually, give me a second. Look at chat for a second. I'll see if I can bring it to my thing. Cause I just want to show you guys something. Yeah, I'll be right back. Take over, Lewis. This is Lewis's hour. Just ask Lewis a question. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Steph, I agree with you 100%. I've always thought from the beginning there was more than one person involved. The timeline's too short. It's too complex of a crime, I think, for one guy just to do that. Yeah, Mystical, I think that letter we put up earlier, any good defense attorney, unless there's something that's positively damning in that document they've seen, is going to say there's no good grounds. And mainly that's to push to get a hearing for bond. And the reason for the bond hearing is going to be more likely just to get evidentiary instead of just getting a bond, because the prosecution then has to present their case, at least to a certain extent, as to why they don't want bond or why the bond is so high. So now they're at the point of playing checkers. So it's going to become chess once the actual case starts, but now they're going to be going back and forth and tit for tat and asking questions, divulging a little bit of information, pushing to get things out in court again. And they're going to play this game up until they actually have something. And at that point, it'll be after they have that hearing, I think. And then there's the moving of the case to a different jurisdiction, which I don't think it's going to stay in Carroll County. That'll probably be the third thing you see released. You'll have tomorrow, then you'll have the request for bail hearing, and then you'll have the change of venue request, I think. Thanks, Steph. I always agree with you. At least everything I've noticed, I've agreed with you on. Just scrolling through here to see if I missed anything. But let's see here. Yeah, McDougal, we're waiting for tomorrow. We want to see what comes up. And hopefully, if they unseal it tomorrow, but they don't release it right away, that the defense attorney puts some information out there, or at least does some interviews and brings up what his request was, thinking that there wasn't enough information in there. But the clock is ticking, and we've only got hours left before they open up down there. What is it? It's 10:45 at night, their time now. So it's an hour and a half, and then so I got about 9-10 hours. Let's see if I can find any other questions out here. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you tonight? Spelling tests were never difficult. That's why there's autocorrect, Steffa. And then, yeah, it depends on what's in there on the redacting. I don't think it's going to be heavily redacted. I think what's in there, you're going to have a small percentage of redacting. It'll be any names that are listed if there's anything in there name-wise. I don't think they're going to redact anything else that comes up for evidence for why they arrested him, though. We've got something popping up on the screen there. Let's see. I think that is actual captured photo from the helicopter footage.
Nope.
No?
Well, yeah, because I took it down. I'll show this one first. This is how I feel. Yeah. Oh, it's not showing it all. Oh.
No, it's cut off.
It says, I'm going, let me see if it's all there or not. Oh, it was so cute. Oops, no, I think I accidentally cut it off. My bad. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, it says, I'm going to let God fix it, because if I fix it, I'm going to go to jail. That's I know, it's kind of funny. But anyway.
Of course, it's a black cat too, right?
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, we'll all see you guys what comes out. And thanks, Louis, for doing that, by the way.
I don't mind. It's trying to find anything that's in chat that we missed.
Yeah. Or you see Adam, the other co-host, Adam here. I mean, he's invisible. We don't know where he is. We're just pretend like he's here, even though he's not. You know.
Now, see, Copper Horse. I think of the Red Green Show. That's what pops up in my head.
Whoops, Honor Leanne Lovemer. I want to know if McLean and Emmons have tried a murder case. Do we know that, actually?
What was that?
Well, I mean, all you have to do, I guess, is type in their name and the attorney name on my case and see what cases that they've done. To be honest with you. Yeah, because you can just do that. Go over there and check it out. So just to go quickly back to this. So yeah, this is from helicopter footage or whatever. So the crime scene area is like right here, guys. Okay, if anyone knew, like, say, like this right there would be like the knife object in one of the victims right there. I call this thing over here this pancake man thing, right? But when you look at it like this, obviously it's like, you know, you're not even gonna probably know it's the crime scene whatsoever, to be honest with you. But it, so out of that comes, you know, my own pictures and stuff like that. But I'm only going to show you something that I was just looking at yesterday, and I literally had to put the iPad down and be like, what the heck am I seeing? Is this pareidolia? Is this not? But so besides, okay, so I wanted to show the spoon again. Okay, so this is like some ladle spoon that, so if victim one is right about here in a sense, or just a little bit prior to that, and then there's like this little kitty cat, what looks like a little kitty cat stuffed animal here. I don't have that picture in here right now, because then there's this ladle. So I thought, you know, I'm just gonna go play around that little area, see what else, like, why is there this ladle looking spoon there? So I'll show you this one first. Okay, so ladle spoon is right here. Okay. Okay, you can clearly see that that's some sort of latch, what I call a latch or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Right here, right here, right here. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Those silver latch things, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, it was clear as day that this thing was some sort of latch. Lewis, you see what I'm saying?
Like a buckle? Like the buckle that snaps into itself?
No. Well, I guess you could think of it like that. Like, but you know, just one of those silver typical latches that has the holes and the whatever. I don't know what the terminology is for it. I just think of it like this latch. And I'm like, okay, like, what the heck's that? Now, although you guys don't really see it in this picture, but I'll show you in this picture. So, but then I get like this image, which has clear circles, you know, like this. So if the spoon's here, and then there's this thing here. And I know you guys can't tell in this picture, but it's almost like that there's swords or something. It's almost like there's swords, because I can see the metal. I can see, you know, like how I've showed you guys the freaking bladed objects in the ground, which is clear as day. But it's almost like those, like, you can only kind of see the one here, but there's actually another one here. But it's almost like that feeling of like, of sword, because at first I'm like, what is this? Is this like a freaking barbecue? No, can't be a barbecue. Then I thought to myself, well, maybe it's like a jewelry box. Maybe it's like a jewelry box or something. I have no idea. All I know is when I'm looking at this, I'm like, what the heck? Like, what? Like, so this might all seem blurry to you, but then what happens, you guys, is like when I'm playing with pictures, just like kind of like cameras and different things, all of a sudden through it all, with enough playing around, something will poke through that you can actually see a clear part of it. And then that's kind of what happened here, is that something's poking through the picture to go, hey, I know that there's an object there, because when it's out of this form, it's all black. You know, kind of like certain trees will look all black, or this will look all black, kind of like on the BG, right? It will be black right here. And it's because like there's an object there. But anyway, so I'm just sitting there like staring at this thing yesterday going like, you have a jewelry box? And then I see these things there. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't know what the heck was going on at this crime scene. I can just tell you there is like a lot of stuff going on at this crime scene. And so something like this, whatever that turns out to be or not be, or whatever it is, all I know is it's like I said, right above this. And I'm just going like what the heck went on at this crime scene? I'm really curious as if we'll ever see, like, you know, like have knowledge of what I'm like. Don't you think? Like, do you think that we will be privy to what was at the crime scene? Do you think that would be privy to that information at some point?
It's hard to say if it winds up being a closed case and hearing. I mean, hopefully they don't keep everything too private if it goes to trial.
Yeah, you know, it's just like I said, you know, like I know that this is clearly a latch of something. I mean, it's clearly one of those latches. I know what that is. I don't know the proper term, like I don't know if it's something that folds down and it lifts open, and then there's some sort of, because they said it was non-secular, correct?
Yeah, the original comment was non-secular.
Yeah. So I'm just going to be curious, honestly, because every time I look at it, I'm like, what the heck was going on at that crime scene? Like, this is just, what I want to know is where did this come from? This whole thought to, pose this crime scene in a way that's like just weird, like a child's like a child thought to do this, or a kid. Like, it just seems so immature of what I'm seeing. And I just still can't picture
or more ritualistic, which would not be immature.
Or correct. Like, for all I know, for instance, like that cat could be a lamb. Maybe it looks like a cat from what I see, but don't forget, I mean, it's when I'm looking at pictures, for instance, like little pancake man, depends what I'm looking at, stop screen, whatever. Depending, like, there's about 15 or 20 different transition colors. So you might click and you go try to find the best one that gives you the best point of view. And then maybe you hit the darker one and it doesn't show something. And all of a sudden, poof, you go to the next one in a different color. And the next thing you know, you can see some stuff that, because it's in a brighter light, that pops out because you don't see it in the darker one. And so, again, it takes a takes a lot of patience. So for anyone that says I don't have patience, they're so wrong. I don't have patience for trolls. But I got a lot of patience for pretty much everything else. Well, for the most part. Yeah, or maybe I'm lying. I used to be more patient. Whatever. Yeah. But when it comes to these pictures, I got more patience. I got so much patience because I just want to, it's like solving puzzles to me. You're giving something and you're like, figure out what it is. Okay, challenge accepted. Even if it's to my own self, challenge accepted. That's pretty much how I feel about the crime scene, like just wanting to know. And then the more I look at it, the more I'm like, what the heck happened here? So I'm just hoping that one day we'll see. Sonny, doesn't it make you crazy when you think a year or so ago I thought they wouldn't ever find him? Now I feel like I want to know how they found him, just to know that, just to know they got him. Well, yeah. Well, frick, 2 years. I honestly, I couldn't have told you a couple months ago if they would have ever solved this case or not, to be honest with you.
What pops up into my mind all the time in the last week or two? If it's accurate that they found him because of an old folder file that they went through, that makes me wonder what happened when they sent everything to Georgia.
I don't know that I'm buying that, to be honest with you. My gut instinct.
Yeah, but I mean, if that winds up being accurate, why didn't Georgia pick up on it? Did they only send what they thought was necessary at the time, or that's been going through my head for the last week or so, and it's bothering me quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Hello, alpha blah, 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 person. All I know is what I keep thinking about that one person that's, a head person in one of the other counties that offered to help with the search. And then chomping gum guy there, Tobe, declined the help. And I can't help it always in my ear how he spoke about how they didn't get along, like that ISP, LE, in that and FBI, they just didn't coordinate. They just didn't. It was egos, and they just weren't working together. That's all that goes in my head. Of if people knew from probably the inside, and knew what was truly going on with how much there was no real camaraderie or whatever you want to call it.
Another person that's been really quiet that I wish would come forward is Ives, since he did say when there was an arrest made, he would come out of retirement because he wanted to be involved. And I haven't heard a peep from him, not a single interview or statement or anything. Unless I've missed him, he's been very quiet.
I've been wondering about that myself, and I wonder if he did offer and they were like declined, or because he has been out of the well, come on, we all know that. Yeah, I'm not in it, so I don't hear stuff. Bull.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was a polite way of having plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm. I just take everything with a grain of salt personally. I pretty much, people are full of shit. We know that, and they'll bullshit us, and then it's just to decipher what the truth is. Like, it's not like they bullshit us as much as, well, no, they do. I think it's just more that they, use their words carefully. And like I said, I can't always help but think of the crime scene when Ives says, it's something that anyone would want to take a picture of. Absolutely, Ives. Absolutely. Cameras
I told you it's not how gruesome or gory it was. That's a statement of something that's odd and abnormal, something that you want to take a picture of. So that goes on to the fact that they keep saying how complex this is.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. We'll wrap this up right soon here.
I need to go off camera for about 5 minutes.
Really? You want me to talk to these people by myself?
Well, I'll be in the background for a little bit here and there. I just got to run next door real quick.
Fair enough. What do you guys want to talk about? Copper Horse, yeah, she said it would be afraid. Ari's lawyers forced her to go for the case, making it look like she supports him. Wonder if she really does or wants him to rotten. She had to know. Is this you're talking about, Mystical, if Ari's wife is going to be there tomorrow or not?
That pushes me a lot of different ways.
Hey, didn't you say you were going off camera, or did you say you were stepping up?
I'm off camera, but I can still communicate for about 5 minutes.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thoughts then.
Oh, no, I was going to say, with that situation, it's one of those things. He probably would like to have her there for support, but with what she's going through and her safety, I have a feeling that she would not be allowed to be in the courtroom. But realistically, if this was the trial, it would be more important. But for this, I don't think it's worth putting her at risk. Having the support of your loved ones there when you're being tried for something is one thing, but when you're just going in front of the judge to release a document, I think the safety standpoint is too much of a concern.
I'm curious to what you guys are talking about with this Shane's grandfather stuff. Was shot behind his right or left ear in front of his house in his car. What story is that one? Any idea?
That I don't know, and I can't read chat.
Shane Evans. Okay, Shane Evans' grandfather committed suicide along with Mike Patty's father in the same year. Really?
That's interesting.
When I seen Shane, I was like, Shane Evans, and then I scrolled back up and I was like, It's not safe for her to be there. This is all just legal jargon. I agree. Wondering if wife Copper Horse supported Steffo. Oh, we were discussing. And supported Steffo.
Like I said, if this is the actual court trial, then yeah, but not for just paperwork.
Support Steffo, at least why did GBI review the case? What? I don't know what conversation they're having. Honor Leanne Lothamer. Okay, that's too long of a name. I'm just going to call you Leanne. Unless you want me to call you Honor. I used to know that story, but forgot. I don't know nothing about it. Lisa, it's odd that they picked Georgia. There must be a reason. Hello, Sunny, Lewis, and chat. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Who is GBI? You mean FBI? No, GBI is Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Right, Lewis? Did he ditch me? Did you ditch me? Fine. My name is Honor. Is that your true name? Yeah? That's pretty cool if it is.
No, I'm still here. I hit the mute button when I was unlocking the door here with my hand.
Dress you up, you can't take you out. Yeah. That's a cool name. If that's your first name. Never even heard of that. And let's see here. Steph, I think I heard they met at the conference and that's how it was initiated. Oh, you guys, I'd actually have to pay attention to what you guys are saying in chat, and I'm not. And I've missed some of it and have no clue what you guys are even talking about. To be honest,
I'll try to go back through chat in a minute when I get back over there.
Chance, okay, I thought you said Chance brother killed himself. You don't kill yourself with a shot behind the ear. Well, I mean, you could. Shot behind the ear. It's not hard. Yeah.
You know, that seems to be a common way for people to die in Delphi.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, like that one police officer.
Yeah, how'd he die? Same thing?
Yeah.
Huh. That was, yeah. What was up with that? Oh.
Yeah.
By the way, they never, remember that fire that the judge, just a reminder.
They ruled that fire undetermined.
What is there with the judges and like families like and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It seems like a lot. Like
she was ISP officer that did the polygraphs. The wife, the one that died.
Yeah, and of course they couldn't determine what caused the fire. Of course, why would you expect anything more than that?
Same investigators as Flora?
Right? Yeah. Oh, shotgun. I see. Okay. Well, if it's a shotgun, that's a different story. That'd be like a trick shot then. If I remember correctly, he was working on a car with someone on his death. That was suspicious. Okay, that's a different one, right?
That was that other one, huh?
Mommer, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The family was killed in a one house, and he was killed at the same time under a car.
Yeah, and just a couple of years ago too, there was that judge, just like a Dirty Birdie Judge Fouts there, that was convicted of doing exactly what it's been said, allegedly, in front of him personally, to what Fouts did. Basically got some, like, according to Tierra, that had come forward to Tierra that said that he did the same thing, like meaning that Judge Fouts, right?
Yeah.
Took him into the back there, wheeled and dealed some, because he's a creep, just so you know. He's like a total creep. I've talked to the mistress, and he's like a creep. He's definitely, at some point, I just want to hear his name ring in my ears. Oh, you're under arrest, but no. It's okay, Dirty Birdie. You just step down. No, nothing happened. Overlooked here.
I understand how with the ethics board, he didn't lose his license to
right. No,
to practice law.
Right. Corruption, people. Corruption.
That's an ethics violation to the nth degree. I mean,
right.
On video, that's that's not a good situation.
I have a question. Did any YouTubers get or have a press pass to attend tomorrow's hearing?
I've not heard anyone mention that they did.
Not saying. Let's just say that they were Hooters, because just weird that fire with the wife and daughter. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to know the outcome, and of course, the outcome had to come back as, I couldn't tell, undefined. I didn't shock me that the officers went into the fire and weren't supposed to and had a flammable hose. They're looking into it. Are we talking Flora? Or are we talking the wife and daughter one? I heard that they are not letting public or media. I don't know where you heard that, Tracy. That's not true. Yeah, that's not true whatsoever.
Now, there's even going to be a media area where they can pick up documents. They've got a media area set up from one of the documents I read.
It's hard to believe. I know. I hope that Flora's in line next. Like just because of Karina McClurkin, now Delphi. I'm hoping that. I mean, let's just say that Richard Allen attaches himself, kind of like what that guy, said, and what I think we've all thought. Like, you just don't start at 45 and go, "Woo, I'm going to go, kill a couple girls." It just doesn't happen that way.
Well, with those charges, we still don't know. I mean, that's an odd way they did the charges because it makes the case harder to go after him for. That it's murder while committing a different crime. So that could mean that he actually did not commit the murders. He could have just been part of whatever the original crime was. So it'll be telling after tomorrow. I know that. That's because that could be a reason why his lawyers came out and said what they said about not having any evidence of him committing murder, because maybe there is none. Maybe there's evidence of him committing the kidnapping, and then they can't connect him to the murders. So they're charging him with the murders because they do know he brought them down there. And if there's no evidence proving he did anything else, that could be why they said that.
Lisa, who's Aspen? I don't know. I don't know who that is, to be honest with you, because I still haven't heard from him.
What about Aspen Front? If Aspen Back isn't here, where's Aspen Front?
Right. I know, right?
Front and center. Come on.
Yeah. Let me see if is there a message from Adam yet? Nope. Look at that. No love from Adam yet. I just can't, he said he was going to be back. He said something about if he took an earlier flight, if he could get an earlier flight. And then he said something. I don't really listen to anybody, to be honest with you. It's, I'm too busy going, oh, I need to look at this, read this, look at over here. And then I'm like, oh, crap, I should have listened. But no, honestly, Adam said something about being back in time for tomorrow. So he was going to be back today at some point, but I just don't remember when. And maybe when he got home, he just face planted. I don't know, Deb.
Yeah, he was looking worn out the other night when he was on. He was
tired. Yeah, he was really tired. Sonny, I was watching Angela's first information, and she thinks more bodies buried where Abby and Libby are. Feels as 2 of 3 involved killed before. I'm going to read that again. Sonny, I was watching Angela's first information, and she thinks more bodies buried where... Oh, I think she said something like that, didn't she? And as feels 2 of 3 involved killed before. Oh, yeah. I think I vaguely remember that part. So I think Angela Angela first did a read. I'll say a read, but however, she again, she deems it as, it's not like she sat there and did a read. She was basically, when somebody kind of meditates on the or uses, what's that word? Remote viewing and stuff like that. And then when she was on Noreen's show from Paranormal Zone TV, then she, Noreen, just like I do, was, asking questions. But at that time, that was her read. Angela, like she says, it's not like she goes right back into the case again. She has so much other stuff. She does a case, she does it once in a sense. But because Delphi is kind of bigger, she keeps tabs on it, but not like we think. It's not like us, So when Angela was, so if anyone ever wants to watch that, but I would suggest watch it maybe after we learn some more things as well, and just see if again where maybe some accuracy lies there. Because I think, do you still believe that there's more people involved, Lewis?
I do. And then to answer Natalie's question, that's what I was getting at. Let's say that they have proof it's him on the bridge. He admitted to being there. They've got audio proof that it's him telling him to go down the hill. But let's say there's stuff we've not seen yet that proves that someone else is involved. And he says, you know, I just told him to go down the hill for their safety and I walked away. They might have proof that he was involved with making them go down there. But if there's no hard evidence saying that he committed the actual crime, they're connecting him to the murders through the first crime, which would be either kidnapping or whatever else they're going to say that was. So it is possible, if they just don't have hard proof of the crime, but they've got proof that he led them down there, that they can try him for kidnapping resulting in murder, which that would be the charge that they have now, not just regular murder.
So when I was like, I guess just went through my head when I heard that it was like that they're looking to get, or that they didn't have enough preponderance of the, how did they word it, Lewis, about the about not having a preponderance of evidence about, that's why
with the charge it's got to be 51% or more. You've got to have more likely than less likely.
Yeah, but I mean, in order, like,
preponderance of a doubt.
Yeah, the bill thing or whatever. All I was thinking in my head is that I can see that. I'm not, they have certain stuff, but I don't know. Like, I guess hopefully we'll learn something tomorrow, to be honest with you, because in my head too, as soon as kind of I heard that, I was like, oh, maybe they don't, like, Doug Carter seems to feel like they got enough and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm like anyone. I'm just
the way he's not willing to say today's the day. I mean, he still seems standoffish, and he seemed really kind of disheartened that they sealed everything, because he's made multiple comments about how it stands on its own and it's fine for it to be released and for the reporters to know what's in it. And that first time they interviewed him, he says, well, the prosecutor and the judge signed on that. We weren't involved in that. So there's a lot of unknowns, and it makes me think that they did that and filed charges without letting him know first. I think he was left a little bit out of the loop on that part.
I think so. But I mean, I'm not a lawyer or nothing. I'm just
My gut call from his normal reactions, and when he was questioned on those things, he didn't seem to have the same demeanor he normally does.
I'm still not convinced he's the BG yet myself. I look at his face every day. I have a question for you guys. The thing is that I'm very limited to his pictures. There's only like 4 okay ones that I really see. My question, does he have a big whacker? Because in one picture, it looks like he has this big freaking solid, I guess I will call it a white mole. Does he have a big white mole right here? Like a big one? Like not even like something the satellite dish could see if it had to? Because in one picture, it looks like that, and I'm not sure if it's just pixelation, but he has a mustache in most of his pictures. And so the one picture where you see this, his droopy chinny thing and stuff, but in that one picture, it looks like he has a big ass, like a wonker. So I'm just curious, because it's not like I don't have access to enough pictures to really look at, because honestly, like, it's no different when I was looking at KD and stuff like that. I was using like 20 something pictures just so you could kind of look over them. You couldn't just, one picture will look different than the other picture. The lighting is different than the other picture. The facial, the way it's looking is different. So there's so many different aspects to when you're looking at a picture, in a sense of what you're trying to see out of it. So in that one picture where he doesn't have a goatee going on, you see this big ass mole thing. And so I'm wondering if that's just the image or if that's truly that he has one. Because of all the idiots out there in Facebook land that sat there and had to go stalk his wife and stuff like that, of course you would shut down her Facebook. you know? Like, I mean, people got videos and stuff, but it's just like when people do that, what do you expect to happen? Like, you think they're just going to be like, oh, yeah, come on, keep coming attacking me and not shut down their Facebook. And then you guys ruin it for everybody else that just wants to go back and look at stuff and whatever, you know? I think that people should think a lot better before going on to some wife and daughter's Facebooks and stuff and start attacking them. Like people are 2 years old and need to do stuff like that.
Some of those remarks are just ridiculous.
Oh, no. What some of these adults out there will say to people, you know, like I said, you know, it's just ridiculous. It's just absurd, you know. It's just absurd how people act. I just find it disgusting that people are grown ass adults and they need to go to somebody's Facebook that's not even the murder person being charged, but that it's the things that they say, you know. It's like that one person that put a post about blaming Becky for letting a 13 and 14-year-old go out to the bridge as if this person sat up on a freaking pedestal and, you know, preaching it. That was a common thing. Like, why wouldn't that be okay? You know, most people would be doing that at probably 11 and 12 in small little towns. I know I was, you know, I could go a mile at 8 years old, you know, but it's just when you're 13 and 14, really, you know, you can't go to the trails, can't go to that stuff. I don't know. Anyways, so I was just curious though if he had like a big ass solar system mole right underneath of his nose there. That's all. If anyone,
I think he looks so different in different pictures.
Well,
one thing I noticed when I looked at some of his pictures. Normally, when people have facial hair and they don't, you can sort of see that same look. Some of his pictures, he looks completely different. It just threw me a little bit.
Well, what I have a hard time is that I don't know, because right, he does. Because if I was to look at that one picture where it's like, dude, your chin does not have that same hard flow as the BG's. Yours looks like it's droopy and saggy and stuff like that. And then you'll see another picture where you're like, oh, okay. You know, what still gets me right now is the eyes. The eyes do not look like the BG's eyes. His eyes go like down. But I'm trying to look every night, like, you know, again, at going like I legitimately just have both pictures of my POI, the other one, and just keep going back and forth, going, all right, let's try this again, you know, but I don't know. I'm not convinced he's still the BG on the bridge myself. And so I don't know. I'll be curious whatever comes out tomorrow, though. You know, I would like to think that they got it right. You know, for the sake of, you know what, for me, Richard Allen just, it's like, it's weird. Out of this whole 5.5 years, this Richard Allen guy pops out, poof, you know, out of the woodwork, and you can't even attach him that we know of to, like, maybe they can, but we can't, to the Kagan Klein. It's almost like, it's like, what? Like, where do you fit in, dude? You know, you think of the crime scene, you think of the timeline, you think, if this was just a kill, it would, right? There would not be this whole crime scene posing and stuff like that. If it was just a, you know, this is, like I said, whether it's a fantasy, whether it's whatever, but it just seems so strange, this whole thing. I'm just waiting for tomorrow, see what we learn. It's all the best we can do. If nothing, if it still stays sealed, it is what it is, you know. Who's being rude?
Somebody didn't like your voice and they said they were leaving.
Is that another troll? Don't give a shit. Do not give a shit. I'll let you know when I do give a shit, which will probably be dead, and I still won't give a shit. Sean, do y'all think the dad was involved? I personally don't. I've never really had this strong feeling with Tony Klein one way or the other. I don't know. What do you think?
My thoughts are, I think he ties into like the stuff with the ski mask incident because he had a history of doing that when he was young. But
Yeah.
I don't connect him to the bridge. I just don't. I think he ties into other things with his son, but I don't think he's one to act on things this way. I think it's a way too complicated situation for him to be involved, at least directly involved. But I do put him together with some of that other odd stuff.
I just want to make sure I block that idiot, Pam. You always like the trolls, you know, you people that you never see talking here. Can't handle the voice. And then that person will come back and leech information because that's how stupid they are, you know. But yeah, I like definitely the ski mask incident because 2 ski mask incidents happened in 2010.
Yeah.
So there's just something to be said about that. There just is. How do you have a ski mask incident a week after the murders and 2 that happened right there where the Kleins lived?
Yeah.
Two in the same.
And he has a history of, you know, going through people's windows and trying to mess with them. Even when he was in high school, it was said that he did that.
I was going to say, we heard things on the Murder Sheets podcast about, you know, like the siblings and whatever, or the stories of him. So it's just a matter of, does he belong incorporated with Delphi, or is it just, it's weird. Just weird case. It's just a very weird case. Like all the, it's almost like having all this stuff out there, and then all of a sudden you get this Richard Allen dude, and then it's not like it's not like the public here is going, ooh, yeah, I can see where the big connection is there to the Kleins and that. Nope, this guy has virtually 0 social media stuff going on, you know, probably hiding behind, you know, like I said, it's not his first time probably at the rodeo. If you go, if it is him, yeah. It wouldn't be his first time at the rodeo at 45 going, yeah, okay, you know, just going to go set up this freaking.
Now to play devil's advocate, it wouldn't be the first time, if they're wrong, that somebody was arrested for committing murder in a similar situation just because they got to the point where they thought they had a good piece of evidence. That happened in Zion, Illinois, with the 2 girls that were found dead there. The one dad was arrested, convicted, tried, put in jail. And then it took years to get him out when they found somebody else. It happened. So I'm not quick to judge this guy because we don't have any clue why they arrested him.
Right.
If we knew what they had and we knew what they know, at least to a certain point, and they could at least connect a few dots, then it would be easier to say, yeah, he's guilty. But everyone that's condemning this guy, and nobody has any clue as to why they arrested him. It just makes it really hard as a citizen for me to say, you know what? I'm on the bandwagon that he's guilty.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not on that bandwagon yet, to be honest with you. I need to see what comes out first.
I'm hoping that it's not some stupid piece of information that they're putting the whole case on that is going to be thrown out the moment, you know, a good attorney gets behind it. You know, like even if it puts him there, like my thoughts with the gun. I think that if that is true, and a gun was cocked at the end of the trail, and there was a live round in the chamber, and it ejected it out, and they found it, and they matched up to the serial number of the ammo that he had at the house.
Still,
that puts him there. That doesn't convict him. And if they're putting their case on stuff like that, maybe for a small town, newly put in position prosecutor, he thinks it's a slam dunk case. But you get a good defense attorney in there, and they'll rip that apart.
What about the fact of, like, let's say in those Macy's bags, there was some undergarments or,
I'm going to say right now, the defense is going to say all that evidence was taken out without being put in bags. It's all contaminated. We need to have it thrown out. It's on video. It's on pictures. We see it coming out of the house with people carrying it in their hands. Who knows what happened there?
Unless they specifically have better footage.
I don't think they've got Macy's brand bags for evidence. I don't think Macy's makes evidence bags. But, it doesn't matter what they did. If they can prove that there was some chance of contamination or some chance of something happening, they can get it thrown out. And that's that's why sealing everything up front is kind of a detriment to the case, because everyone's going to question those things. And the more people question it, the more things come up from people that are trained. And then these attorneys pick up on that. If they've not thought of it, somebody else will.
Well, I was just going to say what Freckled Joy said as well. So what are the chances that they would put it in evidence bags and then put them back in the Macy's bags?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm sure they've done stupider things, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Well, if the rumors about the missing fingerprint are true, that just goes to prove how well that is. And that's going to be, if that's an actual real statement, that's going to be brought up at trial too, and say, well, how can we trust their evidence collection when this happened with one of the key pieces?
Well, like I said, tomorrow. Well, let's answer this. Sean Ernest says, now another question. If Kagan and Richard shared accounts, how did they originally get in contact about sharing an account together, or did Kagan Klein sell it to Richard? What's your thoughts on anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts on that, and that explains the Googling of the Marathon gas station. If they were just connected online through one of these bulletin board chat rooms, which they wouldn't have much history on because that's a safer way for these criminals to communicate, and they were both into the same type of thing, and they set up a meeting because they were going to give him whatever device was needed to upload the pictures, and he met them there, and it's the first time they met was the morning before it happened. I mean, there could be a connection that was not really a connection up until that day. They could have just been talking online for months. That could explain going to Vegas too. The guy does the thing, we get the info, we take to Vegas because we have a buyer. But that's just speculation on my end, but it ties some of the things together.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, tomorrow is just around the corner. It's like 12 hours away, basically, before it's 8:30 when we go live here. Well, 5:30 my time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So don't forget to sub up if you haven't. But I guess you.
So what, 9 hours?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to assuming broadcasting will start in about 7 or 8 hours from the news stations.
Well,
they'll be outside filming from probably 2 hours before they go into court.
Yeah. Well, that's what I figure as well, that they will be for sure. So yeah, if you see anything, Lewis, like I said, let me know.
I'm still hoping my friend gets off work early and calls me last minute and says, plans change, I'll pick you up.
Yeah, well, I just think it's one of those things. It's going to be a shit show probably there already. I trust me. I mean, I'd like to be a fly on that wall myself, and some people are going to get lucky enough to get in, and other people won't. But I guess we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Really, I'm just whatever. It will be what will be, and it will happen how it will happen. Because at the end of the day, if the affidavit's unsealed, everyone just wants to get their hands on it. Well, it's not going to be live in a sense, Ernest. Meaning there's going to be probably news stations. Like we're going to go live, and so I'm sure some other channels, will go live, of course. But it's not like there's going to be any live coverage from inside the court or anything like that. Anything you're going to see is just simply outside what the kind of the news stations, of course, will, be, talking in front of the courthouse and stuff like that about, what we can expect perhaps. Or
I think the most information you'll wind up getting is if his attorneys leave the courthouse and somebody from a station gets them to interview. That'll be where we get the most information, I think.
Yeah.
And if this thing gets unsealed and there really isn't much in there that they feel has any weight, I guarantee one of them is going to get in front of a camera. The only way they're going to win this case is to get media on their side. And if there's nothing in there that really is strong, the first thing I think that they would wind up doing is trying to get that out there. Not that you want that, but, that's what happens when you keep things sealed too long, and then you have to go to court to get them released. Because obviously they've got copies of it now, so.
So
Unless-
if they do unseal it, well, I know usually who dis is like right on that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, she's usually the first to post. Usually, it's like, boom, there you go. Thanks to this.
Yeah.
I don't know how long. How long you figure? If it's unsealed, once court's over.
I can't guarantee it, but I think a smart defense attorney, if there's nothing in there that's damning, would let some of it out there right in an interview. But if there's stuff in there that is damning and they open it, then they're not going to do that. They're not going to hurt their case by putting it out there. But
yeah.
I said, you've got a gentleman that has no social media presence that is being convicted in social media right now all over the internet. His attorneys have to see that and understand that the only way to overcome that is to get information out there if it helps his case.
Louis, let me ask you. Yeah. I mean, you spend a lot of time because you sit in your, your troll booth there, and
it's a troll booth, not a toll booth. Troll booth.
Troll booth. Yep.
Yes, I let the trolls in out of your chat.
My question to you is this: you've obviously been trying to search around Richard Allen and all that. Anything? Find anything whatsoever, really?
Very, very little, and it's very uncommon to have no trail, even if you get rid of stuff on social media.
Yeah, right.
And I tried going back real far on his. Before the first day he was arrested, when everything was up and the family didn't know to get rid of anything, I went back on his wife and his daughter's Facebook page way past 2015. And I found nothing other than one reference to him as Ricky. And that's why I told you his wife calls him Ricky. But even in every other post, she refers to him as my husband, not by name. So there was no way to find that name highlighted as having a Facebook account.
Yeah.
And then I looked a few other different ways, and the only thing that comes up is that one woman's picture profile when you search for, Richard Allen 72, and that pops up as email address attached to that female account, which seems kind of odd because it had some interaction, but maybe somebody was smart enough to use something with a guy that has no social media presence.
Yeah, but the thing is, Freckle Joy is, he has people in Tennessee or whatever, but, and like that's how I feel. And because it's like, what can you attach to that? It's trying to, so unless you go to like for Georgia, Tennessee, all that stuff, loop it all the way back to somehow the climbs at some point. That's just like, for me personally, when I search, it's like, when I start going too far off the trail, I got to reel myself back in and be like, okay, no, we're trying to find like at least a close connection to something. The closest connection that I personally see is, and this is just by, the whole, what we know about him was just that two things, the Lorman last name, knowing that one person was, a pedo that has that same last name, and that last name attaches to the phone number. So I didn't find the connection, but that doesn't mean it's not there to that pedo person. And then the other one is the alias that popped up that was attached to him. That right there is the closest connection to me. I'm not so willing to rule that person out until, the fat lady sings, and I'm not singing yet, people, because that one always strikes me as odd, that you have the killers of Nicole Bowen on his friends list, that you have the Cottrells, that you have all these names that are attached right back over to the client side of things. So I just find it funny that alias happens to pop up to his name. And like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that a calling card from God or something? Like, hey, thanks.
Well,
I don't know.
found so many coincidental names that pop up. It's just so hard to rule in what's an actual real connection and what just happens to be small town connection. But it is very odd that it pops up.
Yeah. Oh, and for anyone new that's watching too, I'm just going to drop the bio link. The bio link has all the different things. It has the you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I mostly pay attention to Twitter out of any of them. To be honest with you, I post to Facebook and stuff like that, but Twitter is my next one that I go to. Instagram I barely look at because it's just attached to Facebook or whatever. So I'm a Twitter person more or less. I've come to like that little Twitter thing. But anyways, TikTok. When I remember to do something to TikTok, but it's not underneath. It's a crime and shame.
I do want to say something though, because
No.
I was anti-Facebook and anti-social media, but very internet savvy most of my life. And I probably had no trail until where I worked forced us to do Facebook accounts. We had to do Facebook accounts for work. So I created one that way, and that's why I did that. So I could see somebody having no internet trail online, but still being very internet savvy. So it's one of those hard things to justify. Just because there's no trail and there's no Facebook and there's not a ton of email addresses doesn't mean he wasn't on the internet doing things in places you're not going to find.
In places, right, exactly. So, because would you deem him as tech savvy from the jobs that he's done and stuff like that?
I would deem him tech savvy from reading that letter he wrote from jail. Just the structure of that letter tells me that he's not dumb. He's pretty sharp. He's one of those guys that's sharp but quiet.
I think so too.
Do stuff.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah.
You know.
Soft-spoken, doesn't want to be in public's light, tries to stay in the dark and out of everyone. You know, he tries to fit in and be invisible. So he would not have a strong, multimedia background online and still able to get on there and do things, because I'm sure in the different departments he worked, he had to do something, either internet-based or computer-based. If he was a manager, when he was at Walmart, they said he handled the orders that were coming in and out. So I'm sure if you're handling inventory at Walmart, you definitely have to know what you're doing online. Because, I worked for a large dealership for years and years, and when I was in parts, as a parts manager, we had to do our orders every Saturday, upload, download, and do inventory. Yeah. And, if you're doing something like that for Walmart, that's probably 10 times the amount of inventory I had to control. I think we had a couple $1 million in inventory. I'm sure that Walmart's got billions of dollars in inventory. So to handle stuff like that and to handle the incoming orders and what goes where, I'm sure everything wasn't done by hand and paper lists. I'm sure it was all done online. And then CVS, I'm sure that they're all automated too. So whatever he did there as a manager, I'm sure the same thing with, inventory control. I mean, they have to control width and depth of inventory. You base it on what you sell. So you need to know how many of each you need to keep and how deep it has to go for how long. So there's got to be a lot of internet use at either job he had.
Yeah. Ivy, your question actually doesn't really make sense to me, but it says he didn't have a criminal history though. So how would he have a previous alias? That's one thing doesn't belong to the other.
Well, most people think alias is a bad thing, a criminal thing.
Yeah.
Alias just means a different way of spelling or writing your name also. So if you use your middle initial in one and you don't in the other, it's an alias. If you shorten your first name, and they go by all links associated with email and documents that you do and things you've signed and accounts you've had. So if your phone account is under, Rick Allen, and your birth certificate's under Richard Allen, and you signed everything Richard B. Allen, that's three different aliases. That's two aliases and one correct spelling.
Yeah, and if you've had a different, exactly, a married name, whatever. Like I can go to,
if it's a female, it's going to be your maiden name, not your maiden name.
Right. I mean, and there's some people that, like I said, they'll attach to a bunch of made up names too that they use.
Yeah. Or like people that have two first names, like they abbreviate as JB. So JB is going to be an alias for, John, Bob, or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I only, of course, know that, of course. So alias, so to what you were saying, it's not because it's about a criminal thing. It's just a matter of an alias is literally deemed as another name that you go by, that you use, that is attaching to your name because you're leaving this footprint throughout the internet of those different things, and they'll attach back to you. Might even be 10 different names.
Yeah.
She says, yeah. I have my alias, yeah. I guess if somebody probably looked me up, I probably have about 6 different aliases, really. I've had a few last names, to be honest, and because
Yeah.
I've had my original birth name, my mom's maiden name, my married names, my nickname. I don't even know if that makes it though. Sunny off of my real name is Sonia. And so yeah, I probably have about a good 6 or 7 myself. But I'm from Canada. Go ahead, come find me. Come find me. You guys are too easy over there. We don't nearly let you guys see the information in Canada the way that you guys let us see the information in the US, which I actually like. I shouldn't be able to see all the stuff that I see for you guys, like for people that I look up. I'm not there to do any harm to anybody by the information I come across at all. It's never used in any which way, shape, or form, but just to look for attachments to, who was possibly attached to Kagan Klein or this or that, stuff like that. So I don't personally use it in an evil way, like some other people can do and stuff like that. I just find it horrendous how easy your information is to access. I just think that's so wrong that literally you guys over in the US that you guys just allow too much. There's just way too much that someone can find out about you. And I just don't think that that's right. To be honest with you, that's just my personal opinion. I figured that an alias completely different from his name would come from a previous interaction. Oh, with law enforcement. Oh. No. Well, I mean, could have if you made one up, I suppose, but I have 3 spellings of my name. I'm maiden, I'm married, and yeah. Like I said, it just, let me put it this way. There are those search engines too. They're not perfect. They're definitely not perfect. Because especially when you have a name like, for instance, Natalie Bell, for instance. So say if that's legit your name, Natalie Bell, which is a very common name in Indiana, by the way. I see the Bell name all the time. Yeah, so Bell is your maiden name, okay. Bell's not a hard last name to come across a ton of Bells. Like if I just put Natalie Bell in and I didn't know you lived in Indiana, I'm going to get a plethora of Natalie Bells because it's a very normalized name, especially like Bell. Just like Allen, Richard Allen, just well, we'll call him Dick. He deserves at least to be called Dick, because regardless, okay. Let me ask you, do you think, I mean, tomorrow we'll know for sure, hopefully. You think that they simply might just have it wrong?
You mean the arrest?
Yeah.
With being so secretive, it makes you wonder if what they've got, I mean, I'm sure there's some connection, but I'm not sold on him being the sole perpetrator or the one in charge.
Correct.
If there's multiples, I mean, he might have just been present. That's one of those things you got to worry about.
That's what's haunting me is that exact thing that you just said there. Well, I guess you don't know, Lisa. We don't know yet. We don't know. We just don't know.
What bothers me is the chance that somebody else that was more involved than he is went to the police and talked, and now the person that just happened to be there gets charged with everything, and that person maybe gets reduced or let go. That's the thing that haunts me in the back of my head. Is that why everything's so secret? Because somebody did come forward and, might not be accurate, but it makes me worry because that happens quite often. The person that just happened to be there, the driver, the getaway guy, he gets charged with everything, and the person that was actually malicious is out in the street in 5 years.
Mm-hmm. I'm just, I just can't really see this guy saying. I can see him saying, "Hey, I was in the area. I was on the bridge as well. Considering I don't know. So unless someone specifically saw him legitly on that bridge, that's the only. I mean, do you know what I mean? So if he knew that someone saw him on the bridge, I just have a hard time with someone going, "Hey, killed a couple girls," just so you know. I was there, and not only was I there, but I was on the bridge, but I'm innocent. I didn't do nothing. And then the police in LE go, "You're right. I'm not even going to look into you after that. Thanks, friend. Have a good day."
You know, play devil's advocate, and he just winds up being there, knew who was there, knew what happened, but really wasn't involved. So the first thing he does is he goes to the police and he says, "I was there. I saw nothing." And then he remains quiet all these years because he's scared for his life. And then boom, he's in the hot seat. I mean, that's always a possibility. I don't think that's really what it is, but I run every scenario through my head. And I keep thinking about that.
What I want to know is this, okay? I want to know one thing. Okay, how tall is this guy? Everyone keeps still putting that he's 5'4". That's pretty short. I don't believe that.
He's between 5'7" and 5'8", and the reason that they keep saying 5'4" is when that original picture was released with him standing in front of the numbers on the thing for the photo, they're spaced 2 inches apart.
Right.
So the first person that saw it counted the marks and said, "Oh, 5 foot 4 inches because there's 4 marks. He's between the third and the fourth one, so he's 5'4". No, he's between 5'7" and 5'8".
Yeah, like I mean, we know that mistakes are made. On his driver's license it says 5'4". So, but we know that mistakes are made, so that I can take with a grain of salt.
Well, I'm assuming that picture where he's standing in front of the thing was when he got his driver's license photo done, and that's probably why it's been that way. The person right. Motor vehicles in Indiana, especially in the more rural areas, are open just a few days a week, and the people working there are usually just hired in. And I could see somebody making that mistake, honestly, and not realizing they made the mistake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Natalie, first of all, I would like to think for sure that I don't know. Waiting for tomorrow. I mean, I would like to think that that they got enough to seal the deal, in a sense, but I also won't shock me if I always forget how to phrase it properly. Somebody else phrased it better. If they don't have, conclusive stuff to hold them, or what they feel. What am I trying to say, Lewis? Somebody put it very a lot better earlier, and I can't find my words on this one for some reason.
Preponderance of a doubt. So you need to have enough evidence to where you're more than 50% certain he was involved in order to have him arrested and held. And then it has to get stronger once they go to trial. But at that point, you can't say, well, his picture from the back looks right, and he said he was out there, so we're right. It can't be something like that. There's got to be something that they have that directly links him in one way or another. Otherwise, a judge never would have signed off on it.
I mean, we obviously know that they have a better picture. They have better audio, video, whatever.
Well, there's a lot more audio, and there's more video. So,
which they said, they can't give it all because, obviously they need to have the stuff that they need to.
The thing to question is the evidence that's in this affidavit solid enough for them to have originally had that search warrant to go and take whatever they took. You want to make sure everything that they took is solid, and the evidence is going to stand up in a court of law and pass the test. If there's anything tainting the warrant or the way the search was performed or the information they found in order to do the search, then they're going to attack that right away.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Natalie and Hudis. They usually don't actually do it. They just ask you how tall you are and how much you weigh. That's a very common thing that they do. How tall are you? No one's going to sit there and go, "Oh, I'm 5'4", but I mean, if it's on his driver's license is 5'4", like most men, okay? Men have a complex about being short. They will always give themselves another inch or two. They always do. They're never going to go underneath your actual height. any man I've ever known that's short always says that they're 5'6" or 5'7" when they're real 5'4". I've seen it all the time, especially on those dating sites out there. Because you're just like, oh, bullshit. I'm gonna have to see you in face to face, freaking liar. That was back in the day. Party line games or whatever it was. My twin sister had this party line. I don't even want to tell you what my first message was, but let me just say this person came out of the shower. Was my first message.
I do want to say this, if I can go back real quick.
No.
Only because the chat keeps bringing up. With motor vehicles in Indiana, I have a lot of experience with them. Like, there was a point where I was in there every month, and depending on the branch and depending on whether they're a branch that works with dealers or not, they can be very strict about what they do, and they actually do take it off the wall. And then the small town ones, which, like by my building, I go in there often, you can tell whenever you want, they don't even question it. So it's sort of hit or miss,
I was gonna say that goes with almost Ferment syndrome, or but I mean, sure enough, it's one of those things is that nothing's ever truly consistent, but my again, I mean, I know some people are gonna not put as much credibility on this, but I still can't help it when these mathematicians, who are supposed to be pretty darn ass smart, come up with 510 and 0.5. But tomorrow, you know what? We're gonna get off here and we'll get 9 more minutes left. That will make it 2.5 hours, right, Lewis? 2.5 hours is the new 1 hour, just so you know.
We already said the first hour and a half is 10 minutes. I mean, it just flies.
Yeah. Because tomorrow will come soon enough. And again, I will always want to do what's best for the girls, first and foremost, if it happens to be a day. But in the chat that's watching now, 193 people watching, don't forget to hit the like button, people, please. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Please. Thank you. This is a recording. Please. Thank you.
And if you're on your phone or a tablet, you have to close out live chat, click the like button, and then hit live chat again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you see the thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad they didn't have a little system that would be like, this person gave you a thumbs up. They would just be calling out people left, right, and center, and I'd be like,
it'd be nice if they marked them in chat with like a check mark or something.
Thanks, Natalie. And again, I'll drop the bio link here, but I was going to say, how many people in chat think that the affidavit, regardless, doesn't matter if it's redacted, whatever, how many of you guys think tomorrow the affidavit will open up tomorrow? Just 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for maybe on there. And I'm going to hit the bio link, and the bio link you guys can follow on Twitter. You can go follow my memes page. You can don't forget, you guys, on my Twitter, if you're on my Twitter, I have there's the Buy Me a Coffee app and the PayPal app. And don't forget, I'm going to be hosting a donation night for Blaine's children. If anyone doesn't know who Blaine is, Blaine died October 16th, leaving behind his 3 children. He did die of an overdose. His 3 children, I have this beautiful picture of them, and it just hurts my heart. But anyways, so my promise was that I would try to make the kids' Christmas a good Christmas and see if anyone else could help out with donating. My goal was about 1,000. To be honest, it's whatever it is, but have about 350. I'd have to look back again, to be honest with you, at the moment. So if you do have a little extra and want to help support for Blaine's children for Christmas time, bless Blaine. Rest in peace, dude. Blaine was on our channel multiple times, and yeah, I miss that dude. I was staring at him again yesterday going, but anyways, his children could use some help as well. Take some pressure off of, I always just feel so bad for the children, of anything like this. Not only did they lose their father, that's gone for life. Dad's gone for life. But anyways, there's the PayPal or the coffee app, which you could buy a coffee or two. It's on my Twitter as well. I have it pinned. So if anybody does, but I will be doing a donation night for Blaine's children for that purpose. It's my promise to Blaine to help make their Christmas a little bit better this year throughout the sadness. So just putting that out there. Okay, guys. And okay, so let's see. So 2. Oh, really? Huh. More 2s than I thought. So 2 was no. What's your number? What's your guess, Lewis?
I missed your question.
Oh, really? You listen to me like I listen to you, huh? No, my question simply was, do you think that the affidavit, no matter what, if it's redacted, will it be revealed tomorrow? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for maybe.
I don't think that they're going to immediately release it tomorrow if they say yes. I think that it's going to be something that records office would not be able to handle. I don't think that they're going to be prepared for what would be needed for release, but I would say within 48 hours. I know they've got longer to do it than that, but I would hope that 48. Well, it's a holiday too, so my guess is going to be it wouldn't happen until next week.
I'm just going to say tomorrow. I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope that it would be tomorrow or Wednesday. I think tomorrow would be overwhelming for them.
Yeah, if it's not tomorrow, it'll be the day after. Like,
yeah, but I'm going to say with the holiday and small town and people are probably off this week, that it could put a delay into next week.
Yeah.
Not to expect it sooner, just because of the holiday.
So 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. If I go to sleep now, I got 8 hours of sleep. That's not going to happen. I ain't going to sleep at 9 o'clock.
I don't think you've ever slept 8 hours.
No, I sleep like 4. Like 4 good hours.
I'll take 4 if I can get it.
You just make sure you don't fall asleep on me, mister.
Oh, no, I'm awake.
And Alexa, don't forget, I sent you the link already. I set it for 8:30. Alexa, don't do your hair. Okay, just don't. If it becomes that you're going to run late or do your hair, don't do your hair.
Just keep the camera off.
No, Alexa can't do that.
If she doesn't do her hair, she probably will keep the camera off.
She doesn't care.
You want no excuses to avoid.
Yeah. Brandy, don't have to release it. Yeah. Well, let's see what tomorrow brings, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna head off of here. Just because I really don't want to talk to you guys anymore, to be honest with you. No, just kidding. You know me. I could probably talk forever, but I'm just gonna go pretend like I'm gonna do nothing, but I'm really gonna go back to my iPad and I don't know, dream of 5 a.m. coming, and then dream of the affidavit does open up, and then we'll see what we go from there. Right, ponytail it. That's all I do. Yeah, ponytail it. I don't care. I just ponytail away.
You can throw one of those, different pictures up there. You can go as corn.
That's it. Lewis, see this? Yeah. I don't ever see you talking to me like that. Alexa? What? I don't ever see you talk. Well, maybe Alexa does.
What's that?
My McDougal, he said, love you, Sonny. And I'm like, I know. Still going to become a stalker thing. Okay. I have to limit those, just so you know. But I do like pie. Just saying. And I did give you a poem back, so that's obviously. You're welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. You're welcome. I bundled it all in a package right there for you. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for joining tonight. We will see you in the morning. So don't forget to join in the live tomorrow. We'll just chit chat, as we're waiting for pictures to come in and whatever. See what's going on. Just, YOLO as always. And what will be, will be. Okay, guys? I'm sorry, Natalie. I said I love you, Sonny, but it was on time delay. Oh, is that what happened? Oh, well, I said I love you last year, but I didn't know you then. But just so you know, I said that to you. Just saying. I never turn into the camera on too many crazies. Nah, I can handle crazy. Call me crazy. Some people do. You know what's funny is that I'm one of the least most crazy people. I like a good laugh and I like to have fun, but I'm a good time. Just to be honest with you, I'm not this like loony. There's true loonies out there, like just Looney Tunes and stuff like that.
Oh, and say thank you to Mike.
Who's Mike?
Mike Esser.
That guy?
Yeah.
Fine.
Said it was a great live to you and me. So
yeah,
give him a thank you.
Great life, great live. Thanks, Mike. No. Okay, guys. Alexa, she loves me the most. Miss Dog Lover, she's my #1 subscriber, she says. And other than that, Natalie, you take care. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the morning, bright and early, okay, guys? And then, like I said, tomorrow's going to be Anticipation Day is what it's going to be. And again, you guys do me a favor, prayers for the family of Abby and Libby and all those family members, in the fact that, of course, that tomorrow they're going to be seeing Richard Allen in the courtroom. And so prayers for the family. Take care, you guys. Have a great night. God bless. And thank you for joining.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Sue Ellen.